Hello, everyone. With Action Comics 1061, we have a new writer, Jason Aaron. He's taken over. Prior to this, we had Philip Kennedy Johnson. He was on the book for a few years, and I loved his run. It was amazing. I was not really anticipating Jason Aaron taking over. I was more fearful of him taking over, but surprisingly, Action Comics 1061 is a really good comic. I was not expecting that. Jason Aaron so far has only written a few DC comics since he's come in, but he's done a really good job. Batman Offworld is really fun, and this book is actually pretty good. Now, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. There's still a lot of potential to go downfall, but it's weird that the guy that's been writing exclusively horrific Marvel comics for like the past few years is now suddenly good again. So that's surprising. Maybe he was just a DC fanboy and he's trying to take down Marvel from the inside. I don't know. But he's doing a great job with DC right now. Hope he keeps it up. But anyways, let's get into it. Spoilers for this issue, obviously, if you haven't read it and you haven't made it to your shop yet, there's your warning. Let's get into it. The comic opens up with Bizarro going to a wizard world. He goes to this place where it's just all wizards. He's not exactly sure why he's there, but he's compelled to go there. And something that I really liked about this comic is the use of narration. It's kind of old school. It's not so much like a lot of new comics where it's or modern comics where it's all in the head of the main character where you're just hearing their thoughts. In this, there's just a lot of just outside narration, just a third party narrating everything, and I really like it. Like Jason Aaron has a really good voice with the narration in this. It's great. But in it, the narrator talks about how Bizarro wants to scream with every fiber of his being because he's confused and he's hurt and there's a lot of things going on. But he's Bizarro, so he can only laugh. And I was like, damn, that sucks. Poor Bizarro. But then he murders a bunch of wizards. He goes there, they hit him with everything they got. It looks like he's dead, but then he's like, nah. And he kills all the wizards. And it's like, oh, Bizarro's legit right now, because Bizarro goes back and forth. Sometimes he's a good guy, sometimes he's a bad guy, because he's at the end of the day he's kind of just confused. But this Bizarro, he's got some intentions. He's got some violent intentions. So he murders these wizards, and then we go to Metropolis and see what Superman's up to. Superman's just flying around Metropolis, you know, doing his Superman thing, making sure everything's good, doing his patrols. And also the art is done by John Timms, by the way. He's the guy who was the main artist on the Son of Kal-El book, which I despised. And I feel like I had a bit of PTSD at first reading this, because I was like, it's the guy that did the Tom Taylor Superman book, which was all about John Kent, and it was awful. But it wasn't because of him. He didn't, control the narrative of that book. And he does a pretty good job. I enjoy the art in here. I will say something, just personal preference for me. Sometimes I don't like how the eyes are drawn, just sometimes, but for the most part, everything in this book is great. I think the art's really well done, and I really liked it. There's some brawls in here that happen. It looks really cool, and everything looks great. But yeah, I think I just have a little bit of like baggage from that John Kent run. So every time I see John Timms, because that's what I know him for, is that run. Every time I see John Timms art, I'm like, I'm a little scared because I just think of that run. But everything's safe. We're okay now. As Superman's doing his patrols, and then he sees Bizarro. He goes up and he's like, "What up, Bizarro? You were a good guy last time I saw you. How's it going?" And Bizarro's like, I'm not chill anymore. And he just knocks him 25 miles. They're not 25 million miles away from Earth. Just with a little swat, just with a backhand. And I love that Superman's not really hurt or shaken up by it. He's just confused how Bizarro hit him that far. Like when he gets up after getting swatted 25 million miles, he's like, how did Bizarro do that? Instead of being like, oh, I'm so much pain. He's just like, how did that happen? And then Bizarro takes him another like couple billion miles from Earth. Their fight goes all over because Bizarro needs to take Superman out of the equation because he's trying to do something above Metropolis. So he gets Superman away, and then he zips it back to Earth because he's a bit more powerful now after he absorbed all those powers from the wizards when they just shot him with everything. And he just turns out he absorbs it because he's the opposite of Superman. Superman gets hurt by magic. Turns out it just makes Bizarro more powerful. Superman then makes it back to Earth a little bit after Bizarro. Bizarro is above there casting a spell. He's got all these different fragments of different things, like from different worlds that he's collected, that the narration says he didn't really know why he collected them, but he just knew he had to. So he's got the spell book, and he's using all these things to cast a spell. The clouds are turning purple, and then Superman gets there, and they start fighting again. It's a cool brawl. Superman's like, what's going on? Why are you doing this? And Bizarro sounds like a very angry DC fan because he starts talking about how everything constantly changes and there's constant like reboots. The universe just keeps changing, and he's very upset about it. And he talks about how his world is gone. essentially, is what he's saying here. He talks about how he's alone now. It's just Bizarro. There's no other Bizarros. Because, you know, there was Bizarro World, there was Bizarro Lois, Bizarro Jimmy. He had his own people, but now it's just him. It's just Bizarro #1. During their fight, Bizarro ends up getting the upper hand because he's so much more powerful right now, and he knocks Superman away, and he ends up knocking a helicopter, well, a news chopper out of the sky, and sends people out of the chopper. Superman, of course, has to go save them. When he does that, Bizarro gets the opportunity to finish his spell. His spell then creates this like big purple vortex and starts tearing Bizarro apart, and we get one of my favorite parts of the book because the narration here is really cool. The narration says, as he flies closer, Superman's flesh begins to sizzle and blister. He knows it will be agony to approach the magical vortex. Agony proves to be an understatement, yet Superman never hesitates, not for a single picosecond. And the art there is great, showing Superman just getting torn apart, trying to get there. And it's really cool seeing that this guy that just tried to kill people and just tried to kill Superman and done a lot of nasty things, Superman's still going to save him. He knows how Bizarro is. He even mentions it in the book where he's like, you're a good man, Bizarro. He doesn't know what's going on with him. He doesn't know what he's talking about with his Earth being gone. Superman's just kind of confused, and it's like, Bizarro, this isn't you, buddy. And then Bizarro just disappears. And then we get, at the end of the book, we get Superman and Lois talking, and Superman's like, Bizarro just seemed very sad. I contacted the Justice League to see what was going on. Barry Allen got some people to go and figure out what's going on with the Bizarro world and the multiverse. It turns out it's gone. It's just gone. During one of the millions of events that are constantly happening in the DC universe, the Bizarro world was a casualty, it seems. It's just not there anymore. And that's what finally did Bizarro in. That's what made him go completely nuts and on this rampage here. And then the book truly ends with Lois and everyone in Metropolis turning into Bizarro people, and Superman even seems to be turning into a Bizarro himself. So it seems that when Bizarro did that spell and went into that portal, it kind of, I guess, dissipated him into everyone, maybe, like a piece of him to turn everyone into a Bizarro. And that's why he was doing this in Metropolis, because, you know, he wanted his own Bizarro world again, his own Metropolis. That's why he did it here, because at first you're thinking, if he wanted to do some spell, why would he do it above Superman's domain? Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's like, oh yeah, he's doing it because he wants to turn everyone in Metropolis into Bizarros. It's interesting. We'll see what happens next. My only gripe with this is we kind of got something a little similar recently from Joshua Williamson's Superman with Parasite, where everyone like turned into different types of parasites. So other than that, I really like this comic, and it was great. It was action-packed. It was fun. It was adventurous. I really like the portrayal of Superman in it. I really like what we got from Lois in it. Bizarro seems really interesting. I like this take on Bizarro. It's cool to see what he's going to be doing, and I always like Bizarro. I think he's a very fun character and interesting character, and the Superman mythos that gets overlooked a lot. So I'm glad he's getting some love, and yeah, just a fun comic. I love the narration, like I said a million times in this video, and I hope it continues. Again, this could just go and be horrible later on. So if in like a year this run sucks, don't come back to this video and tell me how wrong I was, because I've had that happen before. There are some videos where I'm like, oh man, Tom Taylor's Nightwing run is really good when it's like 2 issues in. Then it's like 5 issues later, it's like, this sucks. So hopefully it's not that situation. But yeah, so far it's good. Writing's good, art's on point, colors are really nice to look at. I would highly recommend this. If you were like me and you were like hesitant about Jason Aaron taking over Superman, rest assured that the first issue's good. You can at least get your money's worth with the first issue, and we'll see where it goes from here. But I'm actually excited. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm still sad that Philip Kennedy Johnson isn't on it, because I loved what he was doing with Action Comics. It would have been cool if we could have maybe had like a third Superman book. You know, Batman gets like 10 billion books at a time. 3 Superman books ain't too much to ask for. Action Comics Superman, you could do like Adventures of Superman again or something, if you wanted to bring Jason Aaron on it. But yeah, I get it. Superman doesn't sell super well anymore in the modern age, but still would have been cool to see. Anyways, thank you to everyone for watching this video. If you did read this, please let me know in the comments below. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it like I did? Did you not? What did you think of it? I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. I'm curious because I haven't seen anyone talking about it. I really enjoyed it, and I have no clue what the general consensus is. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all later.
Hey, skinny boy, saucy boy, I be running to the bank. Yeah, you know I hit the gas in the whip full tank. Riding past the ocean while I'm listening to Frank.